Nihari restaurant. If you want the company, you can always find company, and I have found company. Zina, hi Zina.
Hi.
Zina is Merwan's daughter, and this is Mr. Rao. Mr. Rao is a historian, and he's going to tell us a little bit about Sasanian Cafe. Yeah. But before that, Mr. Rao, we've got some wonderful dansak on the table over here. Just been made hot. Roast chicken, which is like an iconic dish of Sasanian. I don't need to tell you that. Yeah. With lovely looking potato chips, not French fries. Potato chips, the way they should be. And of course, Salim Marghi. Zinia, you've been coming here since you were born, I suppose.
That's right.
Yeah? Do you have any part in the making of the food?
No,
No.
I just eat.
You just eat?
Yes.
So come on, help yourself. I'm going to help myself. Mr. Rao, come on, start serving and we'll talk as we go along. You've been coming to Sasanian since,
From the age of 5, that goes back to 1954.
and has it changed at all?
No, the original items are still there, but they have added dynamic Parsi food, which we always wanted, and we had to go for a Parsi wedding or some Parsi friend's house. But now you just walk to Sasania around the corner, and yes, you can have your breakfast, lunch, and dinner here.
Tell me about this place when you were a young boy. What kind of restaurant was Sasanian?
It was a lovely place for picking up bun muska, brun muska, taking them to school on way to St. Xavier's school, even biscuits, khari biscuit, and go to school with it or go home with it.
So who'd come here? What kind of people would be hanging over here in those days?
See, the Marine Line station happened to be just round the corner in front of the soda water Agyari. The first halt of the people who would alight at the railway station was here. They would make a beeline for a lovely cup of Irani tea and half a plate of half brun muska,
Half brewed muska.
which used to cost less than an anna. If you came very early in the morning, at around 6 o'clock, or even better, preferably at 5 o'clock, you would find all the horse trainers, many of them Iranis. They would bring their jockeys, English and Indian jockeys, for their first cup of tea before going to
The race course.
the race course for their morning track work. So it was always interesting. And the present owner, Merwan Kola's father, was a great buff. Kodu Kola was a great buff of coal. Not that he was a big bettor or a gambler, but he was interested in horse flesh. And so it was very interesting to find out about horses and chat with the jockeys about horses.
Over
We
here,
learned a lot about horses in this place.
Sitting over here. This dansak, I must confess, is spectacularly good. You know, it's not very easy to make a dansak, and this one is delicious. The reason I say it's delicious is because of the amount of masala that has gone in over there. You know, a lot of people make the dansak very watery and not with enough spice in it. And these lovely three masalas, the dhania jiru, the dansak masala and the garam masala together in this is making it delicious. It's served with brown rice and these wonderful kebabs.
Lovely cakes, his famous mawa cakes. In addition, during Christmas time, lovely plum cakes. Then comes Easter, Easter eggs, marzipans, and the best bun.
The best
His
bun.
buns are the finest. Particularly Easter buns are exclusive.
Yeah.
They are filled with raisins.
You know, we're going to eat some pudding and some dessert after this meal. But I must tell you that the dansak is superlative. It's just right, okay? The roast chicken is unusual. It's roasted with a nice brown gravy on it, which gives it a slightly Indianized spice, which otherwise roast chickens that you have in England they don't have.
Yes.
And this makes it so nice, you know? It's served with potato chips, which are just yummy. And no dansak is complete without the kebabs. Which leaves us with the sali chicken. The sali chicken is the way it should be. a little spicy, a little sweet, and a little sour, and topped with crisp potato straws. Oh, ha, ha. Mr. Rao, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Thank you,
Gina,
Kunal.
It was
God
going
bless
down
you.
memory lane,
you.
you know.
I know. And the most important thing about memory lane, which is to you most importantly, we need these places to last, you know. And in some way, whatever fashion they can last, will be great. Because when I am 65 years old, I'd still like to come and have a cup of chai and eat some dansa. Thank you. Now,
Thank you.
no. We must have some. I must have some pudding, some sweet, some cake, and some fruit cake. Hmm? This is life. I've done everything one should do when in an Irani restaurant. I've had the chai, the brun maska, the bun maska, the khari biscuits. I've eaten the food. The only thing left to do is eat this wonderful cake and pudding. This is the mawa cake, which is a specialty over here. I'm going to start with the mawa cake. It's full of mawa, mind you. So let me find a point to take the paper off. Freshly baked every day. Mawa cake. Full of mawa. This is the plum cake. This is the plum cake. Cake full of dry fruit. Finally, what Sasanian is famous for, their pudding. This lovely yellow-looking pudding, which has been made over here for generations, literally generations. Everybody has enjoyed this pudding, including my family, myself, the great Busy Bee, and everybody who's ever come here. I like the crusty part. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode of The Foodie at Sasanian in Mumbai. If you want to write to us at weekend@timesnow.tv. Till the next time, it's bye.